Ladies and gentlemen, there are truths that live quietly in the corners of our souls, waiting for us to find the courage to say them aloud. And tonight, I ask you not only to hear me, but to feel what must be said. For some of us were not shaped for the crowd. Some of us were carved by the slow, patient hands of destiny to walk paths few would dare to tread. We are not aloof. We are not arrogant. We are simply chosen. To be chosen is not to be exalted. It is to be marked. Marked not by privilege, but by responsibility. It is to carry a flame so bright, so wild, so consuming, that not everyone can stand near without being burned by the brilliance of it. You see, chosen ones are not placed on pedestals. They are often placed in the shadows, in the wilderness, in the in-between spaces where the soul stretches and bends and breaks before it is rebuilt. We live in a world where proximity is mistaken for purpose, where followers are mistaken for friends, where noise is mistaken for knowledge. But the chosen, those born or called to shift the current of this world, they are not built for constant company. They are not designed to be everyone's favorite. Their journey demands solitude, for clarity grows best in silence. And vision, true vision, is a fragile thing. It does not grow well in crowded soil. I speak now to those of you who have felt that gnawing hunger that no applause can feed, who have stood in rooms full of people and still felt utterly alone, who have had to wrestle with the weight of a calling no one else can see. I speak to you not to isolate you, but to affirm you. You are not strange. You are not broken. You are not arrogant for needing space. You are a vessel of something vast and holy, and vessels of that nature require protection. You see, when a seed is planted, it is buried alone, not because it is unloved, but because it is becoming. And when it pushes through the soil, it still stands alone before it bears fruit. Likewise, those called to shift generations, to build what has never been built, must be incubated in silence. If they are too exposed too soon, they die, not from lack of love, but from too much noise. Chosen ones cannot be around too many people, because not all people carry clean hands or clean intentions. And what is sacred must be shielded until it is strong enough to stand. Some will call it ego. Others will say, you think you're better. But let me offer you this. It is not superiority to guard what is rare. It is wisdom. It is survival. Diamonds do not protest the darkness of the mine. They trust that the pressure will birth brilliance. So too must you trust your path, even when it is lonely, especially when it is lonely. Let us not romanticize the journey of the chosen. It is not all gold and glory. It is often grief. It is sacrifice. It is the ache of invisibility while you're being prepared. It is the pain of seeing things others do not yet see and bearing the burden of that sight. And sometimes, yes, it is exile, because people fear what they do not understand. And when you carry vision, when you embody change, when you speak truth into systems that survive on silence, you will become a threat, not because you are dangerous, but because you disturb what is comfortable. You remind people that they too were born for more, and not everyone is ready to remember. You must understand this if you are to endure. Being chosen does not mean being constantly seen. It does not mean having endless company. It means being entrusted with something divine, and what is divine cannot dwell just anywhere. It cannot be diluted by comparison. It cannot be compromised by consensus. It must be nurtured, often in isolation, often in obscurity. Think of the lion who does not seek out the herd. It moves in silence. It knows its power. It knows that its presence alone commands respect. The chosen must move like that, not with arrogance, but with awareness, knowing that energy is not infinite, that your gift is not common, that you cannot pour endlessly without being refilled. And refilling does not happen in crowds. It happens in quiet corners, in early mornings, in sacred conversations with your own soul. There are many who will ask for your time, your attention, your essence. But you must discern. Not all who seek you are sent to support you. Some are sent to siphon. And chosen ones, if you do not learn the difference, you will become depleted by good intentions. You will become so surrounded that you forget how to hear your own voice. And when a chosen one forgets their voice, they forget their direction. And when they forget their direction, they wander. And wandering for the chosen is dangerous, because the world cannot afford for you to get lost. Do not confuse being around people with being connected to people. Some of your deepest bonds will be with those who are not always present, but always aligned. And some of your greatest betrayals will come from those who kept close to study your movements, not support your mission. Do not be afraid to distance yourself when your spirit says so. Trust the pull, trust the push, trust the pruning. And to those who are not called, but who are near the called, I urge you, do not take offense to the boundaries of the chosen. Do not demand access simply because you mean well. Your love may be genuine, but that does not mean your presence is required in every moment. Sometimes love means stepping back. Sometimes it means holding space, not taking space. The chosen need not constant company, but consistent understanding. Our culture is obsessed with community, and rightfully so. Community is powerful, but solitude is not the enemy of community. It is its preparation. It is in solitude that leaders are formed. It is in the wilderness that voices are refined. It is in silence that strategy is birthed. So let the chosen be alone when they must. Let them wrestle with angels in the night. Let them hear the whisper before the wind. Let me speak plainly. If you have been called, truly called, you cannot live like everyone else. You cannot show up to every gathering. You cannot pour endlessly. You cannot explain yourself to every curious onlooker. Your assignment is not up for debate. Your time is not for every table. Your spirit is not up for consumption. And that's not rudeness, that's reverence. There is a cost to carrying light. It attracts beauty, yes, but it also attracts bugs. And sometimes the chosen must dim, not to hide, but to protect, until the flame can burn without consuming them, until they have learned how to hold their fire without setting everything ablaze. This is the sacred work of becoming, and it cannot happen under constant watch. In ancient times, prophets were not socialites. They were not the life of the party. They were strange. They were avoided. They were feared, not because they were unkind, but because they saw too much. They felt too much. They stood too close to truth. And truth, my friends, is rarely comfortable. But oh, how we need the chosen. How we need those willing to carry the burdens others avoid. How we need those who will say what must be said, build what must be built, break what must be broken. And for them to do this, we must give them room. We must allow them to be what they are, not always accessible, not always agreeable, but always aligned with something greater. You may ask, is the chosen life lonely? Yes, at times achingly so, but it is not empty. There is a fullness in walking with purpose, a joy in knowing you are where you're meant to be, even if you're not where others are. There is a peace that surpasses popularity, a satisfaction that no crowd can mimic. So walk boldly, those of you who have been called. Do not shrink because they do not understand. Do not over-explain. Do not overextend. Your life is not a performance. Your time is not a buffet. Guard it, cherish it, and yes, withdraw when you must. That does not make you cold. It makes you clear. And to those listening, if you are not chosen but you are close to one, be gentle, be generous with your silence, be wise with your words. You may not understand their path, but you can honor it. Do not take their distance personally. It is not rejection, it is responsibility. And if you truly love them, let them go into the quiet when they must. They are not gone, they are growing. In closing, I leave you with this. When thunder rolls through the sky, it does not ask permission. When the moon commands the tides, it does not seek applause. When the roots of a tree stretch deep into the soil, no one sees them, but without them, nothing stands. The chosen are like this, necessary, but not always visible, powerful, but not always praised, and sacred, even in their solitude. So let them be, let them rise, let them roar, let them rest, for the world turns because someone dares to listen when no one else will, and sometimes that someone is you. It is no small thing to walk this earth, carrying more than your own life in your hands. To be chosen is to be a bridge, stretching between what is and what could be, a channel through which dreams become decisions, and decisions become movements. But bridges do not sleep. They do not stroll. They are built to bear weight, and the chosen must learn to bear the weight of vision, the weight of legacy, the weight of silence. We live in a time where every soul is beckoned to speak, to perform, to prove. But the chosen are summoned to something different. They are called not to echo, but to originate, not to appease, but to awaken. And awakening is not a gentle task. It disrupts, it offends, it reveals, which is why the chosen cannot always be around a lot of people. They must be careful what frequencies they allow near their spirit, because they do not just live for themselves, they live for the future, and the future demands clarity. To live chosen is to cultivate the discipline of retreat, not to escape the world but to commune with something higher. Some call it God, others call it calling, others still legacy, but whatever name it takes, it speaks to them, not in the volume of the crowd, but in the stillness of solitude, in the hush of early mornings, in the ache of long nights. It says, "Come away, I have something to show you, but I cannot show you while you're distracted by the noise of what is not meant for you." People will ask, "Why do you keep to yourself?" They will press, "Why don't you show up more? Why don't you let people in?" And perhaps you will try, perhaps you will stretch, you will open a little more, only to find that the depth of your calling cannot breathe in shallow waters. You will see that certain truths cannot survive small talk, that some souls, no matter how well-meaning, are not built to hold the intensity of your fire. And that's not their fault, but it is your responsibility to protect what burns in you. This world celebrates the loud, it rewards the visible, it promotes the popular, but chosen ones often walk in the opposite rhythm, not because they are above others, but because their blueprint is different. They are being built for endurance, not applause, for legacy, not likes, for impact, not attention. And that kind of life cannot flourish when constantly tethered to too many voices. Some of you listening know exactly what I mean. You've tried to join the crowd, and yet something in you remained untouched. You've gone to the gatherings, you've played the part, and still your spirit whispered, "There is more." Not more applause, not more followers, but more depth, more alignment, more truth. And you have felt the ache of not quite belonging, not because you are broken, but because your frequency is rare. The truth is, people fear what does not mirror them. And if you are chosen, your very being becomes a mirror to the world's unlived potential. Your presence becomes a quiet question, why not more? Why not better? Why not now? And most people are not ready to answer that question, so they retreat, or they ridicule, or they try to reshape you into something easier to digest. But chosen ones must not be digested. They must be digested by purpose, not people. Do not waste your energy trying to explain a vision not everyone can see. Some things are not meant to be explained. They are meant to be embodied, and that embodiment takes time. It takes solitude. It takes separation. The caterpillar does not ask the world to understand its cocoon. It simply goes inward, trusting that the transformation it needs cannot happen in front of everyone. So must you. There is also danger in too much exposure, not because the world is wicked, but because the world is busy. And if you are not careful, its pace will become yours. You will rush. You will compare. You will lose your rhythm trying to match someone else's. And rhythm is sacred. It is how the chosen stay tethered to their source. If you lose that, you lose your clarity. And if you lose your clarity, you lose your effectiveness. And if you lose your effectiveness, you may as well not have been chosen at all. I speak now to those who feel weary from trying to belong. You do not have to fit in to be valuable. You do not have to be surrounded to be supported. Your solitude is not a punishment. It is a preparation. The ancestors knew this. They knew the strength of silence, the wisdom of waiting, the power of pruning. They did not plant their seeds in busy places. They chose soil that was deep and still. You are that soil. And so I implore you, do not resist your solitude. Embrace it. Cherish it. Let it do its work. Let it strip away what is not real. Let it fortify what is. Let it teach you the sound of your own soul so well that when the world gets loud, you still know how to listen to your own spirit. That is how you survive as a chosen one. That is how you thrive. This path is not for the faint of heart. You will be misunderstood. You will be questioned. You will be left out. But you will also be guided. You will be held. You will be used in ways you cannot yet imagine. The oak does not weep because it cannot grow as fast as the grass. It knows its roots are going deep, so it can last long. You are not here for a moment. You are here to leave something that lives beyond you. There will be temptations. Oh yes, to dilute yourself, to conform, to step back into comfort. But you must remember, the calling costs, and the chosen must pay with their attention, their energy, and yes, sometimes their community. But what you gain in return is divine clarity, a peace that does not depend on external validation, a knowing that you are doing what only you were born to do. When the storm comes, and it will, You will not survive it by popularity. You will survive it by knowing who you are and what you carry. You will survive it because you took the time in quiet to anchor yourself, to train your ears to hear what is eternal, to harden your resolve without hardening your heart. That is the power of the chosen. They bend, but they do not break. They may bleed, but they still build, because they are not moving for themselves. They are moving for something greater. And let us not forget, being chosen is not about superiority. It is about surrender. It is not about elevation. It is about obedience. It is not about being more. It is about being aligned. That is why the chosen cannot be around everyone, not because they are better, but because they are burdened, and every burden demands a different blueprint. So I say to you again, do not apologize for your distance. Do not shrink your energy to make others comfortable. Do not explain what is holy. Do not unpack what is sacred. Protect your process, honor your timing, tend to your temple, and trust that when it is time, the right people, the right spaces, the right doors will open, not to the version of you that is performing, but to the version of you that is prepared. This is your charge, chosen one, to walk with integrity, to lead without crowd approval, to love deeply without needing to be constantly seen, to know that your life matters not because of who surrounds you, but because of what flows through you, and what flows through you is rare. Let it remain rare. Let it remain protected. Let it grow strong. There will be moments when you look around and find few, if any, walking beside you. Do not let that break your spirit. Let it remind you that you are being trusted with something significant, that your solitude is not a verdict. It is a vote of confidence from the universe, from God, from life itself. It says you are ready to carry what others cannot. Carry it well. And when you've grown strong enough, when your roots are deep enough, when your fire is refined enough, you will emerge, not needing to be the loudest, not needing to be the most loved, but steady, clear, ready. You will speak, and those who are meant to hear will hear. You will move, and those who are meant to follow will follow. And you will know in the deepest part of your soul that the solitude was worth it, that the silence was sacred, that the distance was divine. The chosen cannot be around a lot of people, not because they are better, but because they are building something bigger, something lasting, something holy. And that kind of work requires a different kind of life. So live it, and let no one make you feel ashamed for needing space to become who you were always meant to be. And still, we go deeper, for it is not enough to understand the solitude of the chosen. You must also learn how to live it, to wear it not as a punishment, but as a practice. It is an art to be alone and not lonely. It is a discipline to sit with your own thoughts and not flinch, to hear the voice of your calling louder than the echo of the crowd. That discipline must be cultivated daily, gently, relentlessly, because this world will offer you many reasons to abandon your post, to dull your shine, to compromise your truth. It will offer you companionship as a transaction. Be like us, talk like us, shrink like us, and we will let you belong. But chosen ones, your belonging is not up for negotiation. You are not here to blend. You are here to blaze. You must be prepared for the seasons when your light will go unseen, when your words will be misunderstood, when your absence will be criticized. There will be those who call you distant, difficult, detached. But you must remember, distance is not detachment. It is discernment, a necessary removal to protect what is not yet ready to be revealed. The chrysalis does not apologize for closing. The moon does not explain its phases, and neither must you. Learn to listen without needing to respond. Learn to walk away without guilt. Learn to guard your energy without shame. For every time you make yourself more available to people who are not aligned with your purpose, you make yourself less available to the one who gave you the purpose to begin with. Every yes that violates your peace is a step away from the path you were born to walk. You must be willing to be misunderstood to stay true. The chosen are not simply set apart. They are trained apart, molded in the unseen, refined in the fire of isolation. This training is not gentle. It is rigorous. It is exacting. Because the work you are meant to do cannot be done halfway. It requires every inch of you, your patience, your focus, your integrity. And so life will strip away distractions. Life will strip away applause. Life will strip away everything that cannot carry the weight of what is coming. Some of you are in that season now, where the calls have slowed, the doors have closed, the friends have faded. You are surrounded by silence. Do not rush to fill it. Let it teach you. Let it shape you. You are not being buried, you are being planted, and every root must grow deep before the tree can reach high. Be patient with your process. The chosen cannot always be seen, because if they are seen too early, they are misused. You are not meant to be consumed for entertainment. You are meant to be encountered with reverence. Your gift is not a product, it is a prophecy. And prophecy does not perform, it reveals, it disrupts, it awakens, and that awakening must start in you. You must know yourself before the world knows you. You must love yourself when no one is clapping. You must trust your vision when no one else sees it. This is not arrogance. This is alignment. It is knowing that your purpose predates popularity, that your work is for the long game, and long games are built in hidden places. This is why the chosen often look different, move different, speak different. It is not aesthetic. It is survival. Their soul has been through battles that most cannot see. Their eyes have looked into the future and wept. Their hearts have held burdens too sacred to name. So forgive them if they do not linger long in shallow spaces, if they do not join every celebration, if they do not explain every decision. The chosen walk with a different compass. They are not moved by the same winds. They hear things others do not hear. They feel things others do not feel. And sometimes they must choose solitude over celebration, integrity over inclusion, truth over trend. These choices are costly, but they are necessary. Do not mourn the loss of what you outgrew. If they were meant to go with you, they would not have fallen away. Let your shedding be sacred. Let the old fall so the new may rise. This is the rhythm of the chosen. Constant death and rebirth. You will die to ego, die to image, die to attachment. But from every death, you will rise clearer, truer, stronger, and oh how the world needs what you carry. But it cannot receive it if you dilute it. It cannot recognize it if you disguise it. It cannot follow it if you abandon it. You must stay the course, even when it hurts, even when it's quiet, even when you feel forgotten. For the time will come when what you've built in silence will speak loudly, and it will speak for itself. You are not invisible. You are incubating. You are not irrelevant. You are in training. You are not behind. You are being prepared. Trust that. And trust, too, that when the time is right, the ones who are meant to walk with you will recognize your frequency. You won't have to shout. You won't have to perform. Your alignment will be your signal, and they will come, not to take, but to build, not to distract, but to support, not to compete, but to amplify. Until then, protect your frequency. Say no without guilt. Say yes without fear. Sit in your solitude like a throne, not a prison. Let it remind you of your power. Let it remind you that your worth is not dependent on how many people clap when you speak, but on how faithful you are to what you were given. If you are chosen, then your time is sacred. Your energy is currency. Your presence is purpose. You are not just living, you are leading, even when no one sees you, especially then. This world does not need more noise. It needs more clarity. It needs more people willing to live slowly, speak truthfully, walk humbly. The chosen are not here to entertain. They are here to elevate. And that elevation often requires excavation, digging deep into your soul to unearth the truth no one else is willing to say. That is why you cannot be around everyone. Because not everyone is ready to hear truth. Not everyone can carry truth. Not everyone will honor truth. So go where you are called, not where you are celebrated. Not where you are comfortable. Go where your gift is safe. Go where your spirit can breathe. Go where your silence is not seen as absence, but as alignment. The time will come when your voice will matter to many. But for now, let it matter most to you. Let your own spirit be your sanctuary. Let your own integrity be your counsel. Let your own path be your proof. There are those who will question your distance. Let them. There are those who will doubt your direction. Let them. There are those who will walk away. Let them. Because you, chosen one, were not built to be everywhere. You were built to be exactly where you are needed. And sometimes that means walking alone. Sometimes that means sitting still. Sometimes that means saying nothing at all. But do not mistake stillness for stagnation. You are moving. You are growing. You are becoming. And the world will see in time that the ones who walked alone were not lost. They were leading. So walk on, chosen one, with your back straight, your heart open, your vision clear. And when the world gets too loud, retreat, not out of fear, but out of reverence. There is work to be done, and you cannot do it surrounded by distractions. You were never meant for the noise. You were meant for the change, and change, true change, always begins in silence. So let us stand in this silence a little longer. Let us sit inside its stillness, not to escape the world, but to see it more clearly. You see, when the noise fades and the lights dim, and the crowd retreats, you are left with only what is true. You can no longer pretend. You can no longer perform. In that hush, you hear the rawness of your own heartbeat. You come face to face with your doubts, your desires, your deepest knowing, and it is there, in that sacred quiet, that you begin to understand why the chosen must tread a different path. Not every journey is designed for company. Not every vision can be carried by a committee. Some assignments are handed to you and you alone, and to invite too many hands into the process is to risk distorting what was given in clarity. What was whispered into your soul must be honored as sacred, not exposed to the winds of convenience or opinion. You must know this. There are rooms you will not enter, not because you are unworthy, but because you are not meant to conform to their shape. There are conversations you will walk away from, not because you are arrogant, but because your spirit refuses to be reduced. There are connections you will outgrow, not because you lack love, but because growth has moved you past what was once familiar. The chosen are not afraid to walk away. They are not afraid to start again. They do not seek comfort. They seek clarity. And clarity comes at a cost. That cost is often aloneness. The world may see it as isolation, but for the chosen it is consecration, a setting apart for something higher. If you are called, if you are marked, then solitude is not your enemy. It is your sanctuary. It is where you shed the masks, where you unlearn what was never yours, where you remember who you were before the world named you, before it labeled you, before it told you to shrink. And once you remember, truly remember, who you are and what you carry, then you begin to move with a different conviction, a quieter confidence, a deeper peace, not the kind that comes from approval, but the kind that comes from alignment. You stop chasing rooms and start building altars. You stop seeking permission and start embodying purpose. You will find yourself less reactive, less hungry for attention, more anchored in truth, and from that place, your presence will begin to speak before you do. Your silence will carry authority. Your restraint will become a force, because you no longer need to prove what is already evident in how you live, how you love, how you show up. Do not envy the ones who are everywhere, the ones constantly seen, constantly heard. Visibility is not always victory. Exposure is not always elevation. Some trees grow wide but not deep. And when the storm comes, and it always comes, it is not the width that saves them but the roots. Go deep. Let your life be rooted in something real, something eternal, something not made by human hands. And while you are growing quietly, patiently, let others wonder. Let them ask where you've gone. Let them misread your silence. You do not owe the world an explanation for your obedience. Your becoming is not up for debate. You are not here to entertain. You are here to endure. You are not here to please. You are here to plant. And what you plant in silence will bloom in seasons they never saw coming. There will come a time when your fruit will be undeniable, when the ones who doubted you will seek your wisdom, when the ones who dismissed you will need your voice. But by then, you will no longer be moved by recognition, because your reward will have already arrived in peace, in clarity, in knowing you never betrayed yourself for proximity or praise. Chosen one, you are not called to be popular. You are called to be prophetic, to speak when others are silent, to lead when others wait, to stay when others run, and to run when others stay. You are built to disrupt, to illuminate, to usher in what is next. And that kind of calling cannot be nurtured in crowded rooms or with divided loyalties. You will find your people, yes, but they will be few, and they will be faithful. You will not have to audition for their loyalty. They will recognize you by spirit, not status. They will not demand your light, but honor your boundaries. They will not fear your depth, but meet you there. This too is the grace given to the chosen, an appointed community, small but strong, a tribe not of blood, but of essence. And when they arrive, you will know, not because they flatter you, but because they understand you, because they respect the process, because they too have walked through fire. They too have learned how to be alone without being broken. And together you will not lose yourselves in the crowd. You will rise above it with your integrity intact. But until then, keep building, keep becoming, Keep protecting the sacred. You are not waiting. You are working. You are not idle. You are incubating. And what is being shaped in you now will sustain not just your own journey, but the journeys of those assigned to your voice. You carry too much to be careless, too much to be casual, too much to be common. So be deliberate, be discerning, be disciplined. Your destiny depends on it. The legacy you leave will not be in how many knew your name, but in how many lives were transformed by your obedience, your truth, your unwavering yes to the call. So let them talk, let them speculate, let them walk away. Your solitude is not a void, it is a vow, a covenant between your soul and the one who called you. Honor it, stand in it, let it shape you, because one day you will look back on these quiet days, not with regret, but with reverence. You will see how every step, every silence, every separation was necessary, how it carved out a space within you for vision, for wisdom, for a love that is not loud but lasting. And when you speak, when you finally speak, it will not be with desperation, but with destiny. Your words will not just be heard, they will be felt, because they were forged in the furnace of solitude. That is the power of the chosen, not in their presence alone, but in their preparation. And you, dear soul, are being prepared. Not everyone can walk with you, not everyone should, because your path is not for the many,